Welcome back. The news in details. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi directed providing necessary funds for developing communication and information technology sector and its infrastructure within the digital transformation strategy and the state's plans for financial inclusion. President al-Sisi's remarks came during his meeting on Monday with Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli and Minister of Communication and Information Technology Amr Talat. During the meeting, the President instructed to boost and discover genius elements in the field of technological studies, as they are one of Egypt's supportive powers in its path towards digital transformation. The meeting followed up on strategic projects in the field of communication and information technology, which aim at participating in the state's plan for constructing the Egyptian personality and contributing in boosting digital economy and providing the best services for citizens. President al-Sisi met on Monday with visiting Yemeni Minister of Defense, General Mohammed Ali al-Maqdashi. The presidential spokesman said that the meeting was attended by Minister of Defense, General Mohammed Zaki. During the meeting, al-Maqdashi hailed the Egyptian-Yemeni relations in the fields of security and military cooperation. The Yemeni Defense Minister conveyed to President al-Sisi greetings of the Yemeni President Abdurrabbu Mansour Hadi. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi participated on Monday in a meeting with a number of world leaders on climate change via video conference with the participation of the UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres. The meeting came on the sidelines of the 76th session of the UN General Assembly and was headed by the British Prime Minister Boris Johnson. Presidential spokesman Bassem Radi said that during the meeting, President al-Sisi asserted the importance of unifying efforts to face the negative repercussions of the climate change and confronting any unilateral decisions, such as building dams. The President called on the developed countries to reduce gas emissions according to the terms of the Paris Accord and the Climate Change International Agreement, especially after the wide forest fires that recently took place in several countries. The head of state reiterated that Egypt is looking forward to hosting the UN 27th session on climate change and expressed hope that the coming session will reach real and efficient outcomes in this file. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi addressed on Monday the United Nations session on sustainable development, which is held on the sidelines of the 76th session of the General Assembly. In a speech, the President said that Egypt gives special importance to achieving the UN SDGs according to its own plan, which corresponds to the citizens' aspirations. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi started on Monday his participation in the week-long annual meetings of the UN General Assembly. The President addressed the United Nations session on sustainable development, which is held on the sidelines of the 76th session of the General Assembly. In his speech, the President said that Egypt gives special importance to achieving the UN SDGs. He noted that Egypt has drawn its own plans for achieving the Sustainable Development Goals in a way that corresponds to the aspirations of the citizens. al-Sisi said that the current challenges, namely climate change and the coronavirus pandemic, make it essential to adopt a comprehensive approach in implementing the Sustainable Development Plan 2030 vision. President al-Sisi hailed the Egyptian citizens, saying they are willing to endure the burdens of economic reforms to build their country. During the session, President of the 76th UNGA session, Abdullah Shahid, said that the coronavirus pandemic negatively affected the sustainable development plans in different countries. Meanwhile, UN Chief Antonio Guterres said that support must be given to developing countries to help them in moving to the green economy. He stressed that the international community must work together to draw a mechanism for achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. This session covered the 2030 Sustainable Development Agenda, especially under the repercussions of the coronavirus pandemic and the inequality shown in the responses of different nations to the crisis. It reviewed the urgent measures needed to push sustainable development plans forward. The Sustainable Development Goals include eradicating extreme poverty around the world by 2030. But the United Nations says the COVID crisis has set the effort back by years, with well more than 100 million people thrown back into poverty and hunger, in addition to the more than 4.5 million people who have died. Foreign Minister Sameh Shukri participates in the 76th session of the United Nations General Assembly, which starts on Tuesday and continues till the 27th of September. The spokesman for the Foreign Ministry said that Shukri will review Egypt's vision on a number of issues and its stance on ongoing international developments. Shukri will discuss means of supporting world peace and security. During his visit to New York, the Foreign Minister is due to hold a number of meetings with the UN senior officials and heads of regional and international organizations. Shukri will also meet other foreign ministers taking part in the UN General Assembly meetings. Minister of Defense, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces General Mohammad